Are you thinking about moving to Oviedo? Here are a few things you must know before you buy. I'm Christine McKinley with the Real Estate Chicks. I went to middle school, high school in Oviedo, so I definitely know my stuff when it comes to Oviedo. And my first house ever was actually at Oviedo on the Park. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of everything that you absolutely must know before moving to Oviedo. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you and we are going to talk about Oviedo and why it is so fantastic and why, if you've been Googling maybe places to live in Florida, Oviedo pops up consistently. And that's for a few different reasons. So let's get into just the location of it to start. Oviedo still has that like old town feel. A lot of people have just been here forever. We actually have a very, very bustling Facebook page, like community Facebook page that has like 13,000 people in it or something like that. And so many people are just trying to keep like that old kind of southern, but not really southern small town charm. I'll say small town charm more than southern small town charm. But this does back up to like the rural part of Seminole County. So you can see here we have like this state forest, which just has like a million different beautiful trails. The Brumley Road trailhead, I love to bring my dog here. They do hunt back there, so you do have to be careful. And then all of this is also just like rural boundary areas. So Oviedo does kind of back up to Geneva and Choliota, which are the more rural areas. So I think that's why people just want to keep that small town feel. But the family that owned Oviedo, they did sell a lot of the land to developers. And so that's why we have Oviedo, which is the town. And if you drive through Oviedo now, you'll notice that a bunch of the commercial real estate is very new feeling. It's modern. It's beautiful. That's because it really is very new. So let's just talk about the location again. So we have 434 that runs right here pretty much through Oviedo. But we also have the 417. This is the 417 highway here. And if I kind of back out, you can see that like I have Oviedo, outlined in this like red thing that Google Maps gives me. So the 417 is a huge highway that runs all the way down to like Lake Nona. You can hit the 528 here. You can hit 50 and go out to the beach. So what's nice is that Oviedo does have a highway. I can't say it runs through the middle of it, but it runs through the middle of Oviedo and Winter Springs. So that's really nice to have. And I will say that the closer that you get to that, the easier that it is to be able to go all around Central Florida. So you do have that like country feel and small town feel, but you are so close to everything. Oh, I also wanted to say that the 417 will take you all the way here and you can get right into downtown Orlando. This is the 408 right here, which runs east and west. And then the 417 pretty much runs north and south until you get way, way, way south. But the 417 is what you would take to get to like Medical City, Lake Nona, all that good stuff. So there are a lot of people that actually move from Lake Nona to Oviedo. And I think it's just because it's easy, if they work in Lake Nona, it's easy to actually get to Lake Nona from Oviedo. Now let's talk about why, if you're Googling best places to live in Florida, Oviedo pops up. It is very much because of our school zones. I have other videos specifically for school zones and where you want to live in Oviedo if you want to get into like a certain school zone. But the main high schools is Haggerty High School and Oviedo High School. Haggerty High School was built in like 2005, I believe. And then Oviedo is kind of like Oviedo High School is the original Oviedo High School, obviously because of the name. But both are absolutely fantastic. They, I believe, are still A schools. They've always had really good school ratings, and all of the public middle schools and public elementary schools have always had really good school ratings, which is why, again, if you're Googling best places to like raise a family or just even for property values, you don't even have to have a family. Property values are always going to be good in these good school zones. So it's just a good investment. And that's why Oviedo pops up as one of the best places to live in Florida and definitely in Central Florida. And in Oviedo, within the school zones, there just seems to be a sense of like family in the schools. And I think it's just because a lot of people move up and down in like home square footage within Oviedo, because even if you don't have kids that go there, it's such a fantastic feeling community. There's so many parks, the roads, because things are newer, the infrastructure is fantastic. So it's easy to get around. There's like roundabouts instead of annoying lights. And it's just People like to stay in Oviedo, so it's definitely a fantastic place and just an easy place to live. So let's talk about the types of homes. I would say the majority of homes in Oviedo is going to be in what we call a planned unit development, which is your typical neighborhood with like a neighborhood brick wall, and it probably doesn't have a gate. Yes, there are a few gated communities, but most of them, there's definitely like an established boundary to the neighborhood, but it is not gated, or it's not going to have like a high HOA, and a lot of these are not going to have pools or really any amenities. They're just kind of going to be close-knit neighborhood feel, the nice oak trees that are that line the streets. Within Oviedo, we do have kind of like the old Oviedo, and those might have a bigger lot. They might have like a half-acre lot. Remember, a lot of these people were coming from Geneva and Choliota, and they were just looking to be a little bit closer into town, so they created these communities that these are not going to have like your planned unit development. They're not going to have a subdivision. You're going to be able to just drive through them. They are gorgeous. They feel like Southern charm. They're beautiful. Again, they're on like an acre, even like a half acre, probably half acre to 2 acres. And these are going to be your Oviedo gems. I love this part of town. Very, very close to the Oviedo, the new downtown Oviedo. What am I trying to say? Oviedo on the Park. Yes. Close to Oviedo on the Park, like the Hillcrest streets. All of these are absolutely stunning. These are now worth definitely $1 million because within Oviedo, there's just no more land. So I'll get into that next, like what's coming in Oviedo. But there is just, these are some gorgeous, gorgeous estates. And this is probably my favorite part of Oviedo that you just can't find anywhere else. If you go into Winter Park, you're not finding these unless you're on the lake. And at that point, it's like a $4 million property. But within Oviedo, you still have this like old Southern charm, fantastic, fantastic properties. The new construction in Oviedo is going to be smaller lots. It's going to feel more cookie cutter, and most of these new construction are gated if you're looking for single family homes. And they're building some pretty big houses on some pretty small lots. I would say like 2018, 2017, people really started to build some new construction, beautiful, beautiful homes within Oviedo. Again, these are all going to be, well, maybe not all, but most are going to be gated. And you're going to be looking, definitely 800,000 and up in these types of homes. We have lots of builders. We have Taylor Morrison is here. We have MI that is here. We have Meritage that is here. We have Pulte, which is here. So really what I would suggest is first reach out to me and I can help you kind of narrow down where in Oviedo that you want to be at depending on school zones and all that good stuff. And then second of all, you can also just look up the builder and see what builder you prefer and what neighborhoods they've built within Oviedo, because I guarantee you it's going to be there. What they're building in Oviedo now, and I am filming this video in summer 2025, is a lot of townhome communities. Townhome communities really, really took off, I would say, 2018, 2019, and are still being built because there's just no more land for these big, subdivisions where we need lots of land for single family homes. So I can list 2 off the top of my head townhome communities that are currently being built right now. These will range from like 1,400 square feet all the way to 2,200 square feet. So they can still be pretty big, but it is going to be very hard to find a brand new construction Oviedo home at this point. I actually don't think that they exist right now. So if you're looking for a townhome in Oviedo, even something that's brand new, you are going to be paying, maybe $420 and up for absolutely brand new. And then we have a lot of really great options that are, 5 to 7 years old that are in the mid 300s to high 300s. Those are also fantastic options because they don't feel old yet. Again, they're only about 5 to 7 years old. So those are also fantastic options. This is incredible. Oh my gosh, so many birthday parties here. This is a really cool, kids center. And then, we have the Oviedo bowling alley. Where was Round Lake Park? Okay, right over here. Yeah. So they've got tennis, they've got pickleball. I think that most of these are pickleball courts now. So this is going to be your Oviedo on the Park, and this does not even do it justice. But again, you do not have to leave Oviedo to have a good time. So this is what we call Oviedo on the Park. I think that this lake is called Center Lake. Yeah, there, look, there's a dog park, there's a wine bar right here. There's a fantastic Indian restaurant that is also has a location in Winter Park, I think, and also Winter Garden. So you know it's going to be good if it's in Winter Park and Winter Garden. We have the amphitheater right here, which is super, super cool. They do like family comedy nights, they do holiday parties, all that good stuff. And then this is a huge amphitheater over the holiday season and beyond. There's really cool like nutcracker plays and stuff like that that they put on for the communities. And then all around here, there's like Bark and Brew. You have to look up Oviedo on the Park annual, I don't know, events, festivities. They do a Mardi Gras thing, which is really fun. So as you can see, just even looking right here, this is all townhomes right here. So that kind of shows what I was talking about with there being townhomes. This is townhomes here, over here. This is townhomes right here. And then the area that I was talking about with the really cool houses on an acre or so is right here. There's more, but I'm just like zoomed into this area right now. This is your new downtown Oviedo. So all of this area is going to be very, you know, high in price because of the area that it's at. And this is going to be where everything is. You have your Publix. This is a whole commercial shopping area as well. And if you're curious, now at this point, I'm just giving a whole Oviedo tour. But if you're curious, this right here is sod farms, which is really nice. It's kind of like a nice way to just come home whenever you're driving past the sod farms. You're like, oh, I'm in the country again. You know, it's really nice. And again, the location is just absolutely perfect for professionals who are working in Lake Mary. Again, you just get on that 417, you go right up here to Lake Mary. If you're trying to get to Sanford, because Sanford is really booming right now, the 417 takes you right to Sanford. Let me get back to this. There we go. And then again, getting to downtown Orlando, also a breeze, 417 to the 408. If you're coming into Winter Park, I will say that is a little bit more difficult, but it's not going to take you that long, maybe 25 minutes. You can, depending on where you're at in Oviedo, you can get on the 417, get off on 426 Aloma, and then just take Aloma right into Winter Park. That's going to bring you into the heart of Winter Park. So it's fantastic location. You're close to the beach. I would say the only thing, if you're going to like Universal and Disney multiple times a week, then it might not be your most convenient location. I do have other recommendations, but if you're going once a week, it's really not a bad drive, 35, 40 minutes to get to Universal. So I would say this is a fantastic area and definitely do not discount Oviedo. A few things to just double check before you purchase a home. If a flood zone is an absolute deal breaker for you, make sure that your home is not in a flood zone. Your realtor should be able to tell you that. I would also say just make sure that your school zones, you are in the elementary, middle, and high school that you desire. Again, you really cannot go wrong. And Oviedo has fantastic private options, but reach out to me if you have any questions about exactly where to live in Oviedo if you want specific school zones. Another amazing thing whenever you're thinking about purchasing a home in Seminole County, especially in Oviedo, is the low property taxes. Seminole County has much lower property taxes than Orange County. Orange County is pretty much all of this right here. And then also part of this is Orange County. So you might think that you're living close to Oviedo, but you could actually be in Orlando if you get close enough to UCF. So just make sure that you're still definitely in the 32765 or 32766 zip code. If you're thinking about moving to Oviedo, I would be happy to be your local resource. My info is below. Reach out anytime. Bye.